Hey guys, welcome back to another math lesson with HeyCam Math and Science. In this video, we'll be learning how to multiply decimals. And by the end, we should all be able to multiply decimals, be able to find the correct position of the decimal, and finally be able to multiply decimals by multiples of 10. So before we start multiplying decimals, these are two key points we need to keep in mind. The first one is when multiplying decimals, we start by ignoring the decimal point, and then we perform the multiplication as you would with any other number. The correct position of the decimal point is determined after you've done that, and is found by the number of decimal places there are in the numbers of the question. So this will make a little bit more sense when I go through these in the next few slides. Alright, so let's start with the one on the left, 12.31 times 7. I'm going to start it off by writing it vertically. It's 12.31 times 7. I got that there. And remember, our first step, we perform the multiplication ignoring that decimal place. So we'll just do it like any other multiplication question. So this one, we start with 7 times 1. That gives us 7. And then 7 times 3. That gives us 21. Just carry the 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 2, that is 16. Write the 6 there. Carry the 1. 7 times 1 is 7. Plus 1, that is 8. Now we have 8,617, and now we put in the decimal place. So we have to count how many places there are behind the decimal place. So we have 1, 2 places behind. So the decimal place goes 1, 2 in the second spot from the right. So our final answer will be 86.17. Alright, now let's try with the next question. I've just changed the color of pen for you. It's 3.63 times 6.9. Just make sure they are aligned vertically, just so it's a bit nicer to work with. So remember, I'll just carry out the multiplication as it is any other number. So let's start with 9 times 3, that gives us 27. 9 times 6, that gives us 54. Add the 2, that's 56. Now 9 times 3, that's 27. Add 5, that gives us 32. Now cross out all the numbers we do not need anymore and put a 0 because we crossed out that first one. Now 6 times 3 gives us 18. 6 times 6 gives us 36. Plus 1, that's 37. 6 times 3, that is 18. Plus 3, that is 21. And now we just add it like we would with any other multiplication question. 7 plus 0 is 7. 8 plus 6 gives us 14. 7 plus 2 gives us 9. Plus 1 gives us 10. Carry the 1. 3 plus 1 gives us 4. Plus another 1, that gives us 5. And 2 plus 0 gives us 2. Now we have 25,047. And we count the number of decimal places and put the decimal place in the right position. So this time there is 1, 2, and a third one here. There's 3 points behind the decimal. So that means we need to move 3 places up here. 1, 2, 3. So our final answer is 25.047. Alright, now pause the video here and give that a shot. Just unpause when you're ready to go through them with me. Alright, so for the first question, once again, just write it out like a normal multiplication question. 32.15 times 9. Just carry it out like a normal multiplication. 9 times 5 gives us 45. Carry the 4. 9 times 1 gives us 9. Plus 4, that gives us 13. 9 times 2 gives us 18. Plus 1, that's 19. 9 times 3, that's 27. Plus 1, that gives us 28. And now we count the number of places behind the decimal point. There's only 2 this time, so our final answer is 289.35. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. Now let's try the next one. 2.6 times 178. 1.78, sorry. There we go. I'm just gonna write it out in reverse because it's a bit easier if the longer number is up the top. So that gives us 1.78 times 2.6. So 8 times 6, that gives us 48. 7 times 6, that gives us 42. Plus 4 gives us 46. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 4 is 10. Cross off all the numbers we don't need again. 8 times 2 gives us 16. Before that, we write the 0 here. 7 times 2 gives us 14, plus 1 is 15. 2 times 1 gives us 2. Add 1, that gives us 3. Now add them together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 times 6 is 12. 5 plus 0 plus 1 is 6. 3 plus 1 gives us 4. And now count the number of decimal places behind in these numbers. There is 2 here and 1 here. That gives us a total of 3. So we go 1, 2, 3 places. So a decimal point belongs there. And our answer is 4.628. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. Alright, now we're going to learn how to multiply decimals by a number that is a factor of 10, and this will tick off our last success criteria. So we have 2.65 times 40,000 here. I'm going to ignore all these zeros at the end. I'll just change the color again. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm just going to ignore all the zeros at the end here and carry out the multiplication just the way it is. So 2.65 times 4. That gives us 20. Carry the 2. 6 times 4, 24, plus 2 is 26. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10. And there is 2 decimal places behind that, so that gives us 10.6. And now I'm going to multiply it by 10,000, because that will be 10,000 here. Because we've already multiplied it by the 4, we just have 10,000 left. So 10.6. 0 times 10,000. That just means we need to move it up 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. So if we push that down 2 spots, that's already multiplying it by 100, or 2 points here, and then add another 2 zeros, that will be multiplying it by 10,000. So 1,060, add another 2, and there's our answer. We have 106,000. Let's try the next one here. 0.032 times 600. I'm just going to ignore these 2 zeros again. That just gives us 0.032 times 6. So 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1. That gives us 19. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. And 6 times 0 is 0. And there are 3 points behind there. So we go up 3 places. So that gives us 0.192. And now I have to multiply it by the zeros we crossed out. So that's multiplying it by 100. So we have 0.192 times 100. That means you just need to move it, push the decimal point back 2 places. That gives us 19.2. Alright, now pause the video here and have a go at these questions, and just unpause when you're ready to go through them with me. Alright, so our first one is 52.9 times 3,000. Once again, I'm just going to ignore the zeros behind in the 3,000 and just multiply it by the 3. That gives us 9 times 3, that's 27. Carry the 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 5 times 3 is 15. And there's 1 decimal point behind there, so that is 158.7. Now we multiply it by 1,000. That means we need to move this up 3 places. So that gives us 158. Pushing that is 1, 2, 3. So our final answer is 158,700. Same with this last one, 0.0061. Going to multiply it just by the 7. I'm going to ignore the 700, just multiply it by 7. So 6 times 1 gives us 7. 6 times 7 gives us 42. 7 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. 7 times 0 is 0, and 7 times 0 is 0 again. And there are 4 decimal places behind, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where our 0 goes. And now we multiply it by 100. So that gives us, moving that back 2 spaces because there are 2 zeros here, that gives us 4.27. Give yourself a tick if you got these 2 correct. If you have any questions, just ask me on our Google Meets video call. So that brings us to the end of our lesson. Hopefully you guys learned something from that. And also hopefully you guys can now all multiply numbers, can find the correct position of the decimal, and finally be able to multiply decimals by multiples of 10. This one is where it gets a little bit tricky, so just let me know if you've got any questions. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys back online.
Boom. 2 plus 2 is 4, minus 1, that's 3, quick maths.